Hello everyone, this is Sean Daeley with Global Voice Acting Academy. Animation actors rejoice because I am here with the lovely and talented MJ Lallo. MJ has over 24 years of experience in the voiceover industry as a voice actress, as a voice caster and director, and producer for her own production company, MJ Productions. So MJ, why don't you say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, after you talked about that, I'm exhausted. Have I really been doing that? Hi, everybody. I'm excited to work with you guys, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Just my whole thing is play. It's just so many people will get in this business. Well, can I make money? How soon does it all happen? And it's like, it happens as soon as you play, as soon as you have fun every day with it. Open yourself up to characters, get rid of your own personality in some ways. So I like to come at that place with it, that nothing's right, nothing's wrong, well, that was a good character. This one's, sort of sucks. No, it's just play. It's all play. And it's all in your head. And I'll give you some tips about developing characters, and then we'll just jump into copy.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about, because like I said, you've been doing this for quite a while. How exactly did you get started?
Well, first of all, I ended up in the principal's office a lot as a kid. I just wanted to, I wanted to have fun. I would imitate people and, but what happened was I was actually in music. And my father was a jazz musician. He played with Henry Mancini and all that. So right away, I had all these sounds and vocalists and everybody around me. And so I started actually more in poetry and music. And the whole thing to me was about, because if you're in jazz, you're, this is the kind, you're already working this, right? So I'm already doing this and playing in clubs and so forth. And I ended up getting a wonderful gig with at Play in the Fields of the Lord, which was John Lithgow, Kathy Bates. Oh my God, it went on and on with a bunch of wonderful stars. And this was, gosh, it was how I actually got into AFTRA and SAG-AFTRA too. But what we had to do in that play, in that film, was we had to sing in a language from South America that was an indigenous tribe. And so a guy at the Coppola studio had remembered me because when I went to record my own album, he was there recording for some other works for the Coppolas. And he came out with the people that owned the studio and said, "Oh, God, I hate to do this to you, but can we cancel yours and or put you off another hour? If I don't finish this, they're going to fire me." And I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I'll do my album. And so he remembered me, and he heard some of my album that was out there singing. And he called and said, "I think you'd be perfect for this because this is not English. This is like some strange language." So I go to the Coppola studios, and she said, the gal from Brazil or whatever is there, and she says, "Okay, here's this language." It goes, and I went, okay. And they went, boom, you're in. And so we did the film and did all the ADR and everything on it. And I was walking out, and the gal said, "Oh boy, that sure was fun." And I said, that's really cool voice. She said, "Yeah, I'm doing voiceover." And I said, what is that? I hadn't really heard of it, and because this is in the early 90s. And she said, "It's with this gal." Picked up the card, called the gal that she gave me her card to, and I said, did a couple of wild voices and stuff for her and singing. And she said, "Come on out, I want to meet you." And that was Samantha Paris from Voice Tracks West in Sausalito. Went out, met with her. She said, "You should do this." Boom, changed my life.
That's amazing. Wow, what a great story.
Yeah, Sue Blue was one of my first teachers, Pat Fraley, Andrea Romano. I mean, this is in the heyday of the startup of voiceover. And they would come up to San Francisco. And yeah, so it all I ended up down here because this is where the action was. So I had a great start up there, though. That was terrific. So I came here in 97, 98, and fell into this studio a couple years later. So I've been at my studio, which is in the heart of the Warner Brothers area. You know, Boku Bucks, Kei-ching. I love this place, so I've been here for 17 years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So as the purpose of this interview is we have a couple of classes coming up with you. I know in October, starting from October 14th, we have your amazing characters class working on animation voiceover techniques. So I know even though you kind of tout yourself as a bit of an animation character specialist, I'm sure you'll agree that those kind of character skills can be useful for all areas of voiceover, yes?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, there's a different voice for, I mean, I just said I want to be in animation. That's going to be crazy and fun and wild. And, you know, one of my first gigs, I was playing somebody that was sort of being like, oh, tennis, it was a health, I hurt my elbow, and they liked the whiny voice and everything. And the director said something to me, and I didn't quite hear it. And I said, I'm sorry, did you want me to go to this line or that? And he said, would you read the announcer? And I said, oh, okay. Finally, a healthcare system, a system where people can really, and he said, you're the announcer. I had no idea. Like, oh, okay. And that's when I said, boy, I'm going to learn everything. And so being, you know, playing it across the board and just looking at his narrator is just another character. Commercial is just another character. If it's a character for Starbucks or it's a character for wine, whatever it is, you're just changing your voice all the time to match, you know, what the client wants.
Wonderful, wonderful. So once again, that is our amazing characters animation VO techniques with MJ Lallo, and that's coming up on October 14th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's a 4-week class, so it would also be on the 21st, the 28th, and November 4th. Okay. And you also have another event coming up that's exclusive to our membership, our premium members, and that's our special guest coach workout. So you talked about it a little bit. What kind of skills are we going to try and build for those two classes that you have coming up with us?
Well, the first thing I think that's important is how do you get this mechanism in here to work in a different way? Like, you know, everybody okay, this is my regular speaking voice. So pretty soon you have to get away from that. And how, like I've had a lot of people, particularly men, say, I can't do high voices. Well, the one thing I teach is how do you work with the vocal cords so that they are just mobile like crazy, and just, you know, thinking high gets you there without even going, oh God, how do I get up? Oh, I can't. This is my voice down here. How do I get down here? I mean, it's like these become so fluid that you can go anywhere with your characters. And that's, I mean, I'm happy to do a quick one for you now. Do you want to try that?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, basically, I have everybody stand up and they have I say, let your arm hang down as, you know, like as far as you can. And then you just, you know, take some big breaths and then you let it swing up. So you start the lowest note you can say. It is not supposed to be pretty. You're not, oh, there you go. And you do that several times because it's just like you don't want to pick up, you know, 30 pounds, right? Jim, you want to start with 1, 5, 10, right? So pretty soon this muscle is not going to get hurt, you know. So that's what you want to do with these. And there, you know, if you stay in a certain range most of the time, or in 2 or 3 notes, that's what your mind goes. But that's not me. I can't. Where do you want me to go? I can't do it. But if you start to warm it up, those vocal cords are like, and then I mean, I've seen guys with really deep voices go, you know, I say, okay, there you are, you know, and they're like, oh God! So they can do it, you know, and they same with the gals. You know, this is my voice, this is my regular. Yeah, this is my voice. Can I stay there? I mean, and you have to play with it a little bit. But the other thing I like to work with besides that is a lot of some breathing exercise, because a lot of new people get on a mic and they go, it's not enough. That's not enough. You're saying you're working with your lungs. And so I show some exercise that you do to open that case that's down there so it can support you the whole time you're reading. So if you get the bottom part of the lung full, and then you start to read and you're going on and on and on, you're not having to take, I still haven't taken a breath. Why do I need a breath? Because I've got that big thing in the bottom. I'm still haven't taken a breath, and I'm back in that fast. Because once that tank is full down there, then you're just going, and you get, and when it starts to get a little, your brain's going to give you a signal, and then you're back up. But once you go, then you don't have anything. You don't have enough to take you for a length of time to give a good performance. So those are just some of the things we'll work on. They're really pretty quick. And I find that people, once they say, wow, I like that. Yeah. Hey, just taking a big breath. We tend to be kind of more shallow breathers, just in general. That just awakens everything. Once that breath is there, you have everything in the world to play with. It's just, malleable and supporting anything you do. You don't suddenly go, oops.
No, exactly. And very often especially with newer talent, we forget to breathe because we see all these words on the page and we're like, oh God, how am I going to say all these things? It's like, well, you breathe at the appropriate time. And like you were saying, too often, and I feel like animation voice acting specifically, is incredibly physically intensive. And it's great to see that you've got all these great warm-up techniques to really like physically and mentally prepare students ahead of time, so that when they get there, they're relaxed. They're like, all right, I can do this. I'm physically ready and capable to do outside my range and look silly while I'm doing it and have a great time.
Right.
So
exactly. And I'll see some new people go into the booth and they're like, I'm like, why are your hands in your pocket? Because they think it's just from here up, and it isn't. I mean, you have to work with this like you can't hit a microphone, you can't, but all of this move, and most mics in studios, they're so damn expensive. But you're not going to miss something if you step back or you throw your, it's going to, and the engineer is going to pick that up. And if something needs to be brought up a little bit because you turned your head, we know how to fix that in Pro Tools. That's not a problem. So that kind of physicalization you're talking about is really, really important.
Wonderful. So I know you do, you're quite the accomplished voice actress yourself, but you also do a lot of production and voice casting as well. What kind of skills do you look for in your actors? And if they're having difficulty with a read, how do you help pull out what you're looking for?
Sometimes, it's interesting to me because I find if you're kind of relaxed in there and you're not like, that sort of, even if it's my first gig, it's like, that's okay. You just kind of stay relaxed and you really listen to, like I'll say right here, as you're going along, I want you to can you just swing that up a little bit and extend that word out? I mean, I'm pretty, I'm almost like I'm trying to do it like art, like, yeah, I just had a little kid in the other day and it started with, whoa, I'm not sure I can, go with you or something like that. And I said, okay, give me 4 O's in whoa. Instead, the writer only wrote, 1, whoa. And I said, and so he goes, whoa. I said, nope, longer. Giant O, like just see that O, just go like that. Whoa. I go, okay, now just, and finally he got it, like, whoa. And I said, now swing it up. Whoa. I said, take your arms. I go, whoa. And then he got it. So, that kind of thing, working with children too, is like, they're a little slower, but, physicalizing, helping them physicalize too is, gives them the same thing that an adult would get. You almost have to become childlike, I think, in this business to say, we're just playing with words. We're playing with something and not, oh, I did it wrong. Oh no, I didn't. She's mad at me. You got to get rid of it. I come in there and what's wrong with you? So I'm pretty verbal about just, you know, or well, we'll look at the script and I'll say, I've even said sometimes, how would you say that if you were really, you're not kind of terrified, you're really terrified? Can you think of something in your head? Okay, I think I got it. And then the actor just, they fall into it. So sometimes just images in your head and suggesting them to an actor helps. I think what a lot of people don't realize is when you're actually directing, you're expecting 3 in a row. And people say, well, you just read, nope. I mean, not that it's not going to be perfect, but you're going to have a writer, you know, on the line with you, or Zoom or Skype or whatever it is. We did 2 features out of Spain, and those people are sitting right there, listening to it. Sometimes they'll come, you know, to the USA and work with us, but sometimes you just have to, you know, hear them, what they're saying, and so we're doing things too, but you want to please them, so you always do an ABC, you know, and you've got a script supervisor sitting behind me, and I'll go, okay, do that, and it's something like, you know, what are you gonna have for lunch? What are you gonna have for lunch? What are you gonna have for lunch? And I'll yell, I like B, for whoever they carry, and the script supervisor writes B, and if the writer on the other end can say, I kind of like C, well, then she'll put C, writer. So they get this script with all their comments on it, but it's very rare that you can get away with just, that's all the line is, that you're going to get away with saying it once. So some people go, oh my God. I say, I know, that's why, you know, you look and say, oh gee, I've only got 8 pages of this script that I'm on. It's like, yeah, well, you better plan for an hour. I mean, that's just the way it is, because you are, in a sense, you're almost like an artist. You're painting something, and, you know, we're saying, but let's try a darker blue. Let's try a bigger brush stroke, you know. So that's what you're doing with your voice. So it isn't something that's just, yeah, kick it out. Yeah, next line. And, you know, I've seen Andre Romano. There was a film with her directing people, and, you know, she's going, okay, blah, 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 blah. And they're going there. And even though these people were all pros and had done a million things, she says, do that this time, bump, edit up, beep. I mean, it's just going like that, you know. So gear up.
Yeah. I mean, I'll admit, it's a little bit intimidating to hear that you have, like, but you can't have that perfectionist mindset when it's like, oh, it's got to be perfect that first go. Because like you said, somebody's probably not going to like it, and they're going to want 2 other options anyways.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe they're pleasing somebody, you know. In other words, there's a financier. There's, you know, the 52 episodes of Clay Kids, which, God, I love that. It's got so many hits, like, you know, 350 million hits and stuff on some of them. It's now got picked up in England and some other English-speaking countries. They did it in a bunch of different ones. But, you know, you're trying, like, you've got the guy that owns the company, so there's that person to please. Then there's the writer to please. Then there's this other person that's, you know, I mean, it's very interesting. So that's why you want to go for these, what they call the ABC, the 3 options. Maybe sometimes it's a 4th option. You haven't, and you can't get upset. Oh, God, I didn't get it by the 3rd option. No, it's not about you. It's about different people hearing things and maybe wanting something different. And you just not being self-critical, just change up. What if somebody just says even faster, and you might think in your head, what? Say this even faster. You know, you don't question it, you just do it, you know.
Very much that yes and mentality, like, yes and faster, is this fast enough? How about this one? Kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So I was curious, because you touched on it a little bit, and just this idea of being able to adapt a character, even if we're not really doing character work per se, like animation or voice actor, or excuse me, video games. So how do you create a character for someone like the announcer or background voice number 2?
Well, I think with that, it's like, you know, you'll have to think, like, if you're doing narration, You just think, you're looking at the subject matter. I did a thing for IMAX. It's part of a Nat Geo project, and it is extraordinarily a beautiful piece of. I can't even believe it. It's like bridges that are being built all over the world, and so to me, it's very artful and architect and everybody gathering to help people get to other places. We forget that there are countries where if a bridge blows out or there's a big rain, they're done. The government doesn't say, hey, let's build them a $3 million bridge. They're like, well, whatever, I don't know, get a goat, So for that, I thought it's magnificent, and you're also helping, you're working with, I was working with the writer of it, this Emmy award-winning documentary writer, and he was very good about what he wanted, but to me it was so majestic, and just the way the bridge is opening to other people and other places. It's sort of like emotionally you have to get into, well, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? What am I talking about? And is it magnificent to me, or is it is it something kind of funny? So you go to the gym, yeah, and you drop the weights. What are you going to do now? I mean, you have to kind of go, I got to be in this thing, and I'm talking to somebody that just messed up at the gym. Well, so you have to be in that scene, though you're never physically in it. And to me, that's the challenge of voiceover. You're doing all kinds of things, but they're not there. I'm walking across a bridge, or I'm doing this or that. So that's how you don't have to physically get into the copy in your mind, because you can't get into it any other way. I mean, I'm trying to think of that. There was an amazing interview, and it was about how all this green screen stuff, she's on a horse and she's riding, and she said, there was no horse. Because someone said, how did you do? Did you enjoy, did you take some lessons in riding horse? She says, there was no horse. I said, oh my God. And they said, and then, so the fire came. Nope, there wasn't any fire. Because that's how they're doing movies, particularly games, but even in some movies now, there's just green screen, and they're putting it all in.
Wow, that's amazing. So I love getting to talk with our coaches like this, because so much, I feel like the sort of theme that happens again and again is sort of expanding our awareness of all the work that's involved with voice acting. Because like you said, many of your students, when they first approach it, they just think here, like this is where it all comes from. But like already you're like, no, the whole body has to get involved. You have to be aware of what your body is doing. You have to be aware of what the script is about, and you have to be aware of what the directors or whoever is listening in wants.
Right.
And so I'm getting really pumped. I feel like I need to go to the gym or do a workout with you right now. Once again, we have our special guest coach workout with you on October 3rd at 5 o'clock Pacific time. That's 8 o'clock Eastern. And if you're a member with us, you'll be able to join registration on September 30th. That's this Saturday, also starting at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Now, is there any closing thoughts that you want to talk to any of your future participants or any students who might get the pleasure of working with you?
Here's a fun exercise. Okay. So when you get ready, you're in bed, getting ready to, go down for the night, and just say, tomorrow morning, let me wake up as something completely different. And let's just say, I say to myself, I'm going to wake up as an older lady. Maybe she's, well, I am Italian, but, just somebody that's, kind of having a rough time in life, but I'm going to wake up like that. Go to sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, be that, just try, because you're sort of not in a zone of being, critical of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I tell you, my back's killing me tonight. What? I think I was riding a horse or something. I don't know. It took me way back to the West was I in the West? I can't remember. Anyway, so you just, and that's your start to just play. And like I said, just say, or I mean, you could be anything. You could wake up as a dog. You could wake up, and you could wake up in a, if you do an accent, or if you want to, even start to play with one, you could say, well, I'm British now. I'm still the old lady, but I'm British. And Jock, do you have my tea? You know, I mean, so you can even start to imagine other characters around you. I think, in a way, the best advice I could give for voice artists is go back to your childhood. Because you had to play, so you had to be the cowboy, you had to be whoever it was, you know. Who did you like to play as a kid?
Oh, I was all about the superheroes. Spider-Man, E-Man, yeah, like, I have the power, that kind of thing. So, but,
There you go.
but I love that. I mean, just this idea of like consciously deciding to play. Because like you said, it's like as we become adults, it's all work and no play, and we're all dull children. But like I love that idea, that reminder to play, that this is fun. This is cartoons and video games and creating stories for people to enjoy. So so I don't know about you, but I'm jazzed about your workout coming up. And
Yeah, let's do it.
awesome. So once again, that workout is coming up on October 3rd. Registration opens on September 30th. And if you can't make that, you still have an opportunity to work with MJ in October. That's October 14th, 21st, 28th, and November 4th for our amazing characters voiceover technique class.
Those are really fun. We do a lot of exercises in that, and you get a huge folder of all these different characters to play with. So, I mean, you can just look at the folder and try one every day of the week. Say, let me do this one. It's not like, well, I'm only going to give you one a week. The folder's huge, and you can play with it however you want.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
That's a fun class. I really enjoyed. I did the beginning one and the intermediate one last year, and it was a lot of fun. So cool.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, MJ. This has been just a wonderful conversation. I'm feeling really jazzed, and I want to do some character voices now.
Yes, join us.
Yes, please. So I'm Sean Daeley for Global Voice Acting Academy with the incredibly talented MJ Lallo. Thank you so much for being with us today, MJ.
All right. Take care. Good weekend. Bye-bye.